Most people will never make money while they sleep. Not because they are not smart enough, not because they do not work hard enough, because nobody ever showed them how. I am going to show you 7 passive income models that actually work. Real systems, real numbers. And I will rate each one so you know exactly which one fits where you are right now. Let's go. But first, one thing you need to understand. The traditional path is designed to keep you trading time for money. Go to school. Get a job. Work until 67. Retire. That is the script. And it is the reason most people never build real wealth. Because here is the truth. Time is finite. Your hours run out. Your income stops the moment you stop working. Passive income breaks that rule. You build something once, and it pays you repeatedly. That is the game. And these 7 models are how you play it. This is where most people get it wrong. They think passive means easy. It does not. It means front-loaded. You do the work once, and the system does the work after. Let's start with the first one. Idea 1. Dividend stocks. Most people think stock investing means buying low and selling high. That is not passive income. That is trading. True passive income from stocks means getting paid without selling anything. And that is exactly what dividend stocks do. Here is how it works. You buy shares in companies like Starbucks, Pepsi, or McDonald's. Those companies pay you a portion of their profits directly into your account regularly, without you doing anything. And the stock itself can increase in value on top of that. 2 income streams from one asset. But here is where most beginners make the mistake. They chase the highest dividend percentage without asking one question. Can this company keep paying it long term? That question is everything. Here is how to know the answer. There is a ranking system for dividend reliability. At the top, you have dividend kings. These are companies that have increased their dividend payouts for over 50 consecutive years. 50 years of increases, through recessions, through crashes, through everything. Below that, you have dividend aristocrats. Companies that have increased dividends for at least 25 years straight. Anything below that tier carries real risk. Some of those companies will grow into strong performers. Most will not. And a lot of beginners lose money chasing numbers without understanding sustainability. Now let me rate this one. Time required to set up. 1 out of 5. You download an app, you deposit money, you buy the stock. That is the entire process. Money required to generate real income. 5 out of 5. This is the catch. Let me show you the math. $100 per week is $5,200 per year. A stock like Starbucks pays around 2.4% annually. To generate $5,200 at 2.4%, you need to invest approximately $216,000. So yes, it works, but it requires capital, which is exactly why most people need the next idea first. Pay attention to this next one, because it changes the math entirely. Idea 2. Automating a side hustle. Most people do not understand the difference between a job and a scalable business. A job trades your time for money. The moment you stop, the money stops. A scalable business does not work that way. Here is a real example. I had a friend who trained dogs. He was exceptional at it, but he was barely making money. Why? Because he could only train so many dogs per day. His income had a ceiling, and that ceiling was his time. That is the trap. Time is always the ceiling when you are selling hours. But here is where the internet changes everything. Instead of selling time, you build an asset, something that works for you instead of the other way around. My friend could have created a blog about dog training, a course teaching pet owners how to train their own dogs, a program training other people to start dog training businesses, build it once, upload it once, and now it sells while you sleep. This is where most people mess it up. They think the hard part is the idea. It is not. The hard part is building the asset with enough quality that people actually buy it, and then building the system that sells it automatically. But here is the rating. Time required. 5 out of 5. This takes real work upfront. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. Money required. 1 out of 5. You can start with almost nothing. A laptop and an internet connection. Ease of making $100 per week once it is built. 1 out of 5, meaning it is extremely achievable. You only need a handful of sales. The front end is hard, the back end is powerful. And this is the model that bridges the gap between zero capital and real income. But here is something most people overlook. Idea 3. Creating online content. For decades, traditional media controlled who got paid from advertising, networks, publishers, studios. Then YouTube changed everything. Now anyone with a camera or a microphone can earn from attention. If you create content people want to watch, you get paid. That is the entire model. Once you reach 1000 subscribers and 4000 watch hours, you can monetize your channel, and the income does not stop when you stop uploading. Old videos keep generating views, views keep generating revenue. Every video you create becomes an asset. But here is the problem. Most people think their content is good when it is not, and no one tells them. Because everyone around them is too polite to say it. If you want to improve fast, find the people who will be honest with you. The ones who do not care about your feelings. The ones who will tell you what is actually wrong. That feedback is the difference between growing and stagnating. Pick a niche. Stay consistent. Treat every video like an asset that will pay you for years, not just a piece of content for today. Time required, 5 out of 5. This is hard work, especially at the beginning when nobody is watching. Money required, 1 out of 5. You do not need expensive equipment. You need consistency and quality. Ease of making $100 per week once it scales. 1 out of 5. Once it works fast, and it compounds the same way money does. But pay attention to what comes next. Idea 4. Private investing. Think of the show Shark Tank. Investors put money into early-stage businesses, and as those businesses grow, the investment grows with them. There are two types of investors in this space. Angel investors. These are supportive, smaller investors. They provide capital and mentorship. They take a stake and root for the company to succeed. Shark investors. These are strategic and control-focused. They invest with an agenda. They want influence over the direction of the business. You can operate as either or both. The principle is simple. One well-chosen investment can outperform 10 bad ones. The skill is in the selection, understanding the business model, understanding the market, understanding the team. This is not for everyone at the beginning, but as your capital and your knowledge grow, this becomes one of the most powerful vehicles available. Time required, moderate. The research takes time upfront. The investment itself is passive. Money required, moderate to high. You need capital to participate. Ease of making returns, entirely dependent on your ability to evaluate deals, which is a skill you can build. And this is where most people get it wrong. Idea 5. Affiliate marketing. This is one of the simplest passive income models in existence. Here is how it works. A company has a product. You recommend that product to your audience. When someone buys through your link, you earn a commission. That is it. No product creation, no customer service, no inventory. You are simply the connection between the buyer and the seller, and once your content is live, it keeps working. A blog post you wrote 2 years ago can still generate commissions today. A YouTube video from last year can still drive clicks this week. The content is the asset. The affiliate link is the income mechanism. But here is the problem most beginners run into. They try to recommend everything and end up being trusted for nothing. The model only works if your audience trusts your recommendations. And trust only comes from recommending things you actually believe in, quality over quantity, every single time. Time required, moderate upfront to build the content. Minimal ongoing once it is live. Money required, low. You need content and an audience. Both can be built with almost no capital. Ease of making $100 per week, high once you have traffic. The more valuable your content, the higher the conversion. This is where most people mess it up. Idea 6. Building a digital tool. Find a problem. Build a solution. Charge people monthly to use it. That is the software as a service model. And it is one of the most powerful income structures available. Here is why. Every other model on this list generates income from content or capital. A digital tool generates income from utility. People pay because they need it, not because they want it. Need is stickier than want, and the revenue is recurring, monthly, predictable, scalable. And unlike most assets, a software business can be sold for multiples of its annual revenue, meaning you build it once, earn from it for years, and then sell it for a lump sum at the end. This is the hardest model on this list, but potentially the most powerful. Time required, high. Building requires technical skill or the ability to hire it. Money required, moderate. Development costs money or time. Ease of scaling, extremely high once the product works. Software scales without adding headcount. But do not skip this last one. Idea 7. Renting out your assets. Most people are sitting on resources they are not using. A spare room, a second car, equipment collecting dust, a parking space, even a garden or a driveway. All of it can generate income. Platforms like Airbnb, Turo, and others have made this simple. You list what you have, people pay to use it. You collect income from something you already own. This is the lowest barrier to entry on the list. It does not require building anything. It does not require learning anything new. It requires looking at what you already have and asking whether someone else would pay to use it. Most of the time, the answer is yes. Time required, low to moderate. Some management is involved, but it is minimal. Money required, zero. You are monetizing what you already own. Ease of making $100 per week. High, depending on what you have available. And here is the honest truth about all 7 of these. None of this works unless you do. Most people watching this will feel motivated right now. They will pick the idea that resonates. They will think about taking action. And then they will do nothing. And nothing will change. Not because the models do not work, because execution is the only variable that actually matters. The gap between the people who build passive income and the people who watch videos about it is not intelligence. It is not connections. It is not starting capital. It is one decision. The decision to start before you feel ready. The decision to build the first asset even when you do not know how it ends. The decision to treat your income as a system instead of a salary. So, here is the only question that matters right now. Which one are you going to start today? Not plan. Not research. Start. Because the best time to build passive income was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. And before you go, if this video gave you one idea you had not considered before, one shift in how you think about money, one model that made you stop and think, I could actually do that, then do one thing right now, not tomorrow. Not after the next video, right now. Hit subscribe. Because this channel exists for one reason, to give you the information, the frameworks, and the honest breakdowns that nobody handed you when you were starting out. No fluff. No recycled advice, no motivation that disappears by tomorrow morning. Just real systems, explained clearly, every single week. And if you want to go deeper on any of the 7 models covered today, drop a comment below with the number 1 through 7. Tell me which one you are most interested in, and I will build an entire video around it. Because the next step is not watching more content about passive income. The next step is building one stream, one asset, one system. And this channel will show you exactly how. So, subscribe, drop your number in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.